Introduction to 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. The way that we conceive the future sculpts the present, gives contour and tone to nearly every action and thought through the day. If our sense of future is weak, we live listlessly. Much emotional and mental illness and most suicides occur among men and women who feel that they have no future. The Christian faith has always been characterized by a strong and focused sense of future, with belief in the second coming of Jesus as the most distinctive detail. From the day that Jesus ascended into heaven, his followers lived in expectancy of his return. He told them he was coming back. They believed he was coming back. They continue to believe it. For Christians, it is the most important thing to know and believe about the future. The practical effect of this belief is to charge each moment of the present with hope. For if the future is dominated by the coming again of Jesus, well, there's little room left on the screen for projecting our anxieties and fantasies. It takes the clutter out of our lives. We are far more free to respond spontaneously to the freedom of God. All the same, the belief can be misconceived so that it results in paralyzing fear for some, shiftless indolence in others. Paul's 2 letters to the Christians in Thessalonica, among much else, correct such debilitating misconceptions, prodding us to continue to live forward in taut and joyful expectancy for what God will do next in Jesus. Who is this from? Paul. Paul grew up in Tarsus, a city on the trade route between Syria and Turkey. His family were strictly observant Jews, but his father was prominent enough among the city's non-Jews to have acquired Roman citizenship. You didn't have to be Italian to have Roman citizenship, but you did have to have money or fight in the army. Citizens were supposed to get special treatment when arrested. Paul got arrested more than once for disturbing the peace with his talk of Jesus, but sometimes the authorities beat him up first and found out about his rights later. Or, as happened in Thessalonica, an enraged mob broke into the house where he was staying, and Paul narrowly escaped lynching before he was smuggled out of town. Who is this written to? Thessalonica was a major seaport in the province north of Greece. It had a small Jewish community that welcomed non-Jews to explore the one God and the Jewish way of life. When Paul arrived in the synagogue and announced that Jesus was the long-awaited Jewish Messiah, many of these non-Jewish sympathizers found his arguments persuasive, but they barely had time to declare their faith before the Jewish community erupted in controversy, and Paul's team had to flee for their lives. There was so much that Paul hadn't had time to teach them, so his colleague Timothy traveled back and forth with letters and questions. When was this written? Roughly AD 50 through 51. Claudius was a frail, bookish 50-year-old when he became emperor in AD 41. His nephew had been assassinated, and the imperial guard elevated him as the last of Augustus Caesar's line. This proved that emperors held power not on the basis of law, but by the will of the army. By AD 50, his second wife, Agrippina, was pulling the strings at court. She maneuvered Claudius into adopting her son Nero, after which she poisoned Claudius. 1 Thessalonians Chapter 1. I, Paul, together here with Silas and Timothy, we send greetings to the church at Thessalonica, Christians assembled by God the Father and by the Master Jesus Christ. God's amazing grace be with you. God's robust peace. Convictions of steel. Every time we think of you, we thank God for you. Day and night you are in our prayers as we call to mind your work of faith, your labor of love, and your patience of hope in following our Master Jesus Christ before God our Father. It is clear to us, friends, that God not only loves you very much, but also has his hand on you for something special. When the message we preached came to you, it wasn't just words. Something happened in you. The Holy Spirit put steel in your convictions. You paid careful attention to the way that we lived among you and determined to live that way yourselves. In imitating us, you imitated the Master. Although great trouble accompanied the word, you were able to take great joy from the Holy Spirit, taking the trouble with the joy and the joy with the trouble. Do you know that all over the provinces of both Macedonia and Achaia, believers look up to you? The word has gotten around. Your lives are echoing the Master's word, not only in the provinces, but all over the place. The news of your faith in God is out. We don't even have to say anything anymore. You're the message. People come up and tell us how you received us with open arms, how you deserted the dead idols of your old life so that you could embrace and serve God, the true God. They marvel at how expectantly you await the arrival of his Son, whom he raised from the dead, Jesus, who rescued us from certain doom.